Adama is a kind and devoted wife who has worked hard to build a beautiful life with her husband, Oluwaseun. Together, they share a home filled with love, laughter, and the warmth of a family that seems perfectly balanced. Adama takes pride in her relationship with Oluwaseun, and they enjoy a deep connection that others admire. Their life together is everything she dreamed of, a partnership built on trust, mutual respect, and happiness. However, things aren't as perfect as they seem, especially when it comes to her relationship with her stepsister, Makena. Makena, despite being part of the same family, has never quite been able to accept Adama's success and happiness. While Adama thrives in her marriage and enjoys a strong bond with Oluwaseun, Makena struggles with feelings of resentment and jealousy. The two women have always had a strained relationship. Adama, the bright and successful one, and Makena, who constantly seems to be lurking in the shadows, bitter about the life Adama has built for herself. Though the family often gets together for gatherings and celebrations, the tension between Adama and Makena has never fully disappeared. Adama tries to remain kind and understanding, knowing that Makena's bitterness stems from her own insecurities. But despite her efforts to be supportive, Makena's jealousy grows stronger, and it begins to quietly influence the atmosphere at home. Things start to feel different for Adama. She can't pinpoint exactly why, but the peace she once felt seems to be fading. It's not something she can see clearly yet, but the subtle changes are starting to take their toll. As time goes on, Adama finds herself questioning whether her life is as perfect as it once seemed. Although she still cherishes her relationship with Oluwaseun, something in the air feels off. The shift is gradual, but it's undeniable. Makena's envy is slowly seeping into their lives, and Adama has no idea that her happiness is about to be tested in ways she never expected. Makena, Adama's stepsister, has always felt a deep-seated jealousy of the perfect life Adama shares with her husband, Oluwaseun. From the outside, Adama seems to have it all. Her marriage is strong, she's loved by everyone around her, and she's created a beautiful, peaceful life. But to Makena, this is a constant reminder of everything she feels she lacks in her own life. While Adama flourishes in her role as a wife and woman, Makena struggles with her own insecurities and resentment. She feels trapped in the shadows, unnoticed and bitter about how things have turned out for her. For years, Makena has tried to hide her jealousy, putting on a mask of politeness whenever she's around Adama. But beneath the surface, the jealousy has grown stronger, and Makena has started to resent not just Adama's happiness, but also the way people admire her. She begins to convince herself that Adama's perfect life is somehow undeserved and that it's time for her to do something about it. With a quiet sense of determination, Makena begins to subtly plot to create a rift between Adama and Oluwaseun. She knows that she can't openly attack Adama. She has to be clever, planting seeds of doubt in subtle ways. She starts to play the role of the concerned family member, the one who is always looking out for others. Makena watches Adama carefully, waiting for any moment when she might be distracted or away from her husband. During family gatherings, Makena finds her moments to strike. She casually drops comments to Oluwaseun, implying that Adama has been acting strangely or keeping things from him. At first, it's small things, saying how Adama seems distant or how she might have been hiding her true feelings. She makes her concerns sound genuine, using the guise of family loyalty to manipulate Oluwaseun's emotions. She tells him that she's only trying to help, that he deserves to know what's really going on, even if it's hard to hear. Over time, Makena's whispers start to wear away at Oluwaseun's trust in Adama. He begins to question his wife's actions, doubting her intentions and wondering if there's something more to their relationship than he realized. The small cracks Makena has introduced into their marriage grow bigger, and Adama starts to notice the tension in Oluwaseun's behavior. What Adama doesn't know is that Makena is carefully orchestrating everything behind the scenes. Each planted doubt, each carefully timed suggestion, is part of her larger plan to break apart the happiness Adama has worked so hard to create. Makena's jealousy is driving her to destroy the very thing she envies most, and she's willing to use any tactic, no matter how cruel, to make sure Adama's perfect life isn't so perfect anymore. Makena's plan to break apart Adama and Oluwaseun's marriage starts to take shape. She knows she must be careful, so she begins by planting small seeds of doubt in Oluwaseun's mind. Whenever they are alone, she gently starts to whisper that Adama might not be as honest with him as he thinks. She says things like, "Have you noticed how Adama has been acting strange lately?" Or, "I'm just worried because I don't think she's telling you everything." Makena pretends to be concerned, as though she's looking out for Oluwaseun's best interests. But deep down, she's only sowing the seeds of distrust. She doesn't make any big accusations at first. Instead, she plays the role of a caring family member who simply wants to help him see what others don't. She carefully drops hints that maybe Adama has been keeping secrets or hiding something from him. Even if it's just small things, Makena's words are subtle, but they start to have an effect. Oluwaseun, who has always trusted Adama, begins to feel uneasy. He wonders why Makena is bringing up these concerns. And little by little, the doubt begins to take root in his mind. Makena knows that for her plan to succeed, she has to make it seem like she's just being a good sister, someone who has no ill intentions. She continues to push her whispers carefully, saying things like, "I'm not saying it's anything serious, but I've seen things that don't add up." Each time she speaks, she makes it seem like Adama is hiding something, even if there's no real evidence to back up her claims. The more Makena talks, the more Oluwaseun starts to question things he never thought twice about before. At first, it's just small doubts in his mind. But soon, they begin to grow. Oluwaseun becomes more distant from Adama, unsure of what to believe. What he doesn't realize is that Makena's manipulations are slowly tearing apart the trust he has in his wife. The first seeds of doubt have been planted, and they're starting to take root, changing the way Oluwaseun sees the woman he loves. Oluwaseun, who has always loved and trusted Adama deeply, starts to feel uneasy. The small doubts Makena has planted in his mind grow slowly, and he begins to notice things he hadn't paid attention to before. At first, he brushes off the thoughts, telling himself that there's no way Adama could be hiding anything from him. But over time, he can't help but feel like something isn't quite right. Whenever Adama seems distracted or distant, he starts to wonder if she's keeping something from him. He thinks about the small comments Makena has made, like how Adama sometimes seems secretive or off. His mind begins to question the little things, why Adama was late coming home from work, or why she didn't mention something she had been doing. These small, everyday moments start to feel strange, and soon, Oluwaseun finds himself doubting Adama's actions and intentions. Even simple things like her tone of voice or the way she answers questions make him feel uncertain. He starts to overthink her every word and movement. If she's late, he wonders if she's with someone else. If she seems tired, he thinks maybe she's been hiding something. Despite his love for her, Oluwaseun can't ignore the nagging feeling growing inside him. He tries to talk to Adama about his concerns, but his questions come out wrong, making things seem worse than they are. What he doesn't realize is that Makena's whispers are affecting his judgment, and he's starting to see things that might not even be there. Small misunderstandings start to pile up, and instead of talking openly with Adama, he becomes more distant, unsure of who to trust. The doubts that Makena carefully planted are now taking over his thoughts, pushing him away from the woman he once knew so well. Adama begins to feel a strange tension in her marriage that she can't quite explain. Everything seems off, but she doesn't know why. She notices that Oluwaseun, the man she's always been close to, is acting distant and cold. His responses are shorter, and he seems to avoid looking at her the way he once did. Adama tries to brush it off at first, thinking maybe he's just stressed from work or dealing with something on his own. But as the days go by, the distance between them grows, and she can't ignore the feeling that something is wrong. She wonders if she's done something to upset him, but every time she tries to talk to him about it, he becomes more closed off. She asks him if everything is okay, but he just gives her vague answers or tells her he's fine, even though his body language says otherwise. Adama feels hurt and confused, not knowing what she has done to make him pull away from her. She remembers how strong their bond once was, how they could talk about anything, how he would always make her feel seen and heard. But now, it feels like there's an invisible wall between them. Adama tries to reach out to him in small ways, hoping to reconnect, but each time she does, he seems more distant. She wonders if she's missing something, but no matter how hard she thinks about it, she can't figure out what's wrong. What she doesn't know is that Makina is quietly at work, whispering doubts and planting seeds of mistrust in Oluwaseun's mind. All of this is happening behind her back, and Adama is completely unaware of the role her stepsister is playing in pushing her husband away. The confusion and pain grow as Adama struggles to understand why her once happy marriage is suddenly falling apart, with no clear reason why. Makina's plan continues to unfold as she works behind the scenes, making Adama's life more difficult. She begins to manipulate small situations to make it look like Adama is hiding things from Oluwaseun. One day, she finds an opportunity to create a false story. She sees Adama talking to a friend outside their home and decides to use it against her. Makena twists the situation, telling Oluwaseun that she saw Adama meeting someone secretly, implying that it might be something more than just a casual chat. She plants the idea in his mind that Adama is being unfaithful, even though it's far from the truth. Makena also takes advantage of moments when Adama is tired or stressed, using those times to make her look suspicious. For example, when Adama is busy with work or overwhelmed by family issues, Makena whispers in Oluwaseun's ear that Adama's behavior seems off. She hints that maybe Adama is hiding her true feelings or keeping something from him. She continues to create situations where Adama's actions are taken out of context, making her seem like she's involved in secretive activities. As the lies build up, Adama starts to feel more and more isolated. She notices that Oluwaseun is growing more distant, and she tries to explain herself, but he doesn't seem to believe her anymore. His eyes are full of doubt, and she feels like she can't reach him. The constant questioning, the coldness in his behavior, and his lack of trust hurt her deeply. She starts to feel like she's losing him, and no matter how much she tries to talk to him, she can't break through the wall that has grown between them. Makena's manipulation pushes Adama to the brink, making her feel alone and misunderstood. Every time she tries to get closer to Oluwaseun, it only seems to drive him further away. Adama doesn't know who to trust anymore. She's lost in a whirlwind of confusion and pain, unable to understand why her perfect life is falling apart. Meanwhile, Makena watches from the sidelines, pleased with how her deception is working, knowing that soon Adama's life will be completely turned upside down. One evening, the tension between Adama and Oluwaseun reaches a breaking point. After days of growing suspicion, doubt, and distance, Oluwaseun's emotions finally explode. He has been listening to Makena's whispers for too long, and the small doubts she planted have now turned into overwhelming anger. In a fit of jealousy, he confronts Adama. His voice is filled with hurt and frustration as he accuses her of being unfaithful. He believes the lies Makena has fed him, and he's convinced that Adama has been hiding something from him all along. Adama is shocked and heartbroken. She can't believe what she's hearing. She never imagined that her husband, the man she loved and trusted, would accuse her of something so cruel. She tries to explain herself, to tell him that there's been a misunderstanding, but Oluwaseun's anger clouds his judgment. His accusations become sharper, and he no longer listens to her words. Adama's heart aches as she realizes that the man she thought she knew is no longer the same. The trust they once shared is shattered, and she feels helpless. The pain of his words cuts deeply, and Adama feels a sense of betrayal she's never known before. She feels like she's lost everything in that moment. The love, the trust, and the life they built together. Adama knows she can't stay in a situation where she's being accused of something she didn't do, especially when the person accusing her won't listen to reason. To protect her dignity and her heart, Adama makes the painful decision to leave their home. With tears in her eyes, she gathers her things and walks away, leaving the life she once cherished behind. Her heart is broken, and she feels like a part of her has been ripped away. As she walks out the door, she knows she needs space to heal, but the pain of losing her husband, the man she loved, feels unbearable. She hopes that one day Oluwaseun will see the truth, but for now, she's left with nothing but her shattered heart and the uncertainty of what's to come. Adama is completely devastated by Oluwaseun's words. The pain of being accused of something she didn't do is unbearable. She never imagined her marriage, which once felt so solid and full of love, would break apart so suddenly. Feeling lost and heartbroken, Adama leaves their home, unsure of where to go or what to do next. Her mind is racing with questions. How could Oluwaseun believe the lies? Why did he turn on her so quickly? In her confusion and sadness, Adama turns to the people who have always supported her, her friends and family. She seeks comfort in their presence, hoping to find some peace in the midst of her storm. Her friends listen as she pours out her heart, offering her words of encouragement and reminding her of her strength. Her family embraces her with open arms, letting her know she's not alone. They comfort her, and though their support helps, the ache in her heart doesn't fade. Even with the love and kindness of those around her, Adama can't help but feel that a part of her life has been torn away. The life she shared with Oluwaseun feels like a distant memory, and the trust they once had now seems lost forever. She longs for things to go back to the way they were, but deep down, she knows that it may never be the same. Her heart is heavy, and though she's grateful for the support she has, the pain of losing her marriage is something she can't escape. Adama feels like a piece of her life has been shattered, and she doesn't know how to begin to rebuild it. After Adama leaves, Oluwaseun is left alone, surrounded by the silence of their home. At first, he feels a strange mix of anger and confusion. He tells himself that he did the right thing, that Adama's behavior was suspicious, and that he was just protecting himself. But as the days go by, the anger begins to fade, and a heavy sense of regret starts to settle in. Oluwaseun begins to reflect on everything that has happened, the small moments he overlooked, the way Adama had always been honest with him, and the warmth they shared before everything went wrong. He starts to wonder if he made a terrible mistake. He remembers how Makena had spoken to him about Adama, planting seeds of doubt in his mind. The more he thinks about it, the more he realizes that he never took the time to truly listen to Adama. Instead, he let his jealousy and insecurity cloud his judgment. He starts to see the signs of manipulation, how Makena had quietly pushed him into believing that Adama was hiding something. He remembers how she always made herself seem like the concerned sister, always watching out for him. Slowly, it becomes clear that Makena had used his emotions to turn him against Adama. The weight of this realization hits Oluwaseun hard. He feels ashamed of the accusations he made against his wife, knowing now that he had been tricked by someone who never had her best interests at heart. The regret eats at him as he thinks about how deeply he hurt Adama, the woman he loved. He realizes how much he took their relationship for granted, and now it feels like everything is slipping away. Oluwaseun wishes he could take back the words he said, but he knows he can't undo the damage. Still, he is determined to make things right. He knows that to heal the broken trust and fix what he's destroyed, he will have to find Adama and apologize from the heart. As time passes and Adama works through the pain of losing Oluwaseun, she begins to piece together the truth. She's heard rumors, seen strange behavior from Makena, and has slowly started to notice things that didn't add up. Adama had always trusted her stepsister, but something in her gut tells her that Makena had a bigger role in everything that happened. One day, a conversation with a close friend of hers opens Adama's eyes. Her friend reveals how Makena had been secretly speaking against her to Oluwaseun, planting doubts and spreading lies about her actions. At first, Adama is stunned. She can't believe that Makena, someone she had always treated like family, could do something so cruel. But the more she thinks about it, the more it all makes sense. She remembers how Makena would always act so friendly around her. But deep down, Adama had sensed a certain coldness, a jealousy that never seemed to go away. Now, the truth is out in the open. Makena had been poisoning Oluwaseun's mind with lies and manipulation all along, driven by her own bitterness and jealousy toward the happy life Adama had built with him. Makena's true nature is fully exposed as Adama learns about the web of lies her stepsister wove. The jealousy that Makena had always tried to hide comes to light. It's clear now that Makena had never liked seeing Adama so happy, so successful in her marriage, and she couldn't stand it. She wanted to tear it all down. Adama feels a deep sense of betrayal, realizing that someone so close to her had worked behind her back to destroy everything she held dear. But she also feels a sense of relief. She now knows who was truly responsible for the heartache she had been feeling all this time. This discovery forces Adama to face a painful truth about her family, but it also gives her the strength to move forward. She no longer feels confused or unsure about the reasons behind the cracks in her marriage. Makena's manipulations are clear, and Adama knows now that she was never the one at fault. After discovering the truth about Makena's lies, Oluwaseun is filled with guilt and regret. He can't believe how easily he was tricked into accusing the woman he loved. The anger and jealousy that had clouded his judgment seem foolish now. He understands that he hurt Adama deeply, and the weight of his mistake crushes him. He realizes that he let his own insecurities and doubts get in the way of the trust they once had, and now he has to make things right. Determined to find Adama and apologize, Oluwaseun embarks on a journey to seek her out. He searches for her, reaching out to friends and family who may know where she is. He wants to explain everything to her, to let her know how truly sorry he is for believing the lies. Each step he takes is filled with remorse as he thinks about all the damage he caused. He knows that just saying sorry won't be enough to undo the hurt, but he hopes it will be a first step in healing the rift he created. When he finally finds Adama, he is overwhelmed with emotion. He sees the pain in her eyes, and it breaks his heart. He falls to his knees, begging for her forgiveness. With sincerity in his voice, he explains everything: how he was manipulated by Makena, how he allowed doubt to replace trust, and how much he regrets the way he treated her. He tells her that he was wrong, that he should have never let anyone come between them, and that he is deeply sorry for the pain he caused. Adama listens quietly, her heart torn between the pain of his actions and the love she still feels for him. Oluwaseun's apology is heartfelt, and he makes it clear that he will do whatever it takes to rebuild her trust. He understands now just how much he lost when he accused her, and he promises to spend the rest of his life proving that he can be the man she deserves. The sincerity in his words touches her heart, but Adama knows that forgiveness will take time. Still, she can see the depth of his regret, and she begins to believe that perhaps, with effort and love, they can heal the wounds that were created. Adama listens to Oluwaseun's heartfelt apology, and as the words sink in, she feels a mixture of pain and relief. She is still deeply hurt by what happened, and the scars from the accusations he made are not easy to forget. But, as she looks into his eyes, she sees the sincerity in his face. She can feel the regret in his voice, and she knows that he truly understands the pain he caused. She also knows that love isn't always easy. It comes with challenges and moments of hardship. Adama takes a deep breath and tries to calm the storm in her heart, though the hurt is still there. She realizes that forgiveness is the only way to heal. She understands that holding on to the anger and pain will only continue to hurt her. It won't bring back the trust they once shared, and it won't fix the brokenness in their relationship. Forgiveness, even though difficult, is the path to healing, both for herself and for her marriage. With a heavy heart, but a clear mind, Adama tells Oluwaseun that she forgives him. She admits that it will take time for her to fully heal, but she's willing to try. She knows that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened, but it does mean letting go of the anger and allowing themselves to move forward. Adama feels a sense of peace as she makes this choice. It's not easy, but she knows it's the right thing to do. She hopes that with time, they can rebuild the trust they lost and become stronger than before. And though the road ahead may be long, Adama is willing to take the first steps toward healing, knowing that forgiveness is the key to finding her way back to love. After the emotional journey of forgiveness, Adama and Oluwaseun slowly begin to rebuild their relationship. They both understand that healing takes time, but they are committed to working through their issues together. Adama's heart is still fragile, but she sees the effort in Oluwaseun's actions, and it helps to rebuild the trust that was broken. Oluwaseun, full of regret, continues to show his love and dedication, trying to make things right by being patient and understanding. Slowly, they start to feel the warmth of their bond returning, stronger than before. Together, they realize that the person who caused their pain was Makena, and they know they can't move forward without addressing the damage she caused. Makena, who had secretly planted lies and manipulated situations to tear them apart, is confronted by the couple. Oluwaseun and Adama stand together, facing her, and demand an explanation. Makena is shocked, caught off guard by the strength and unity of the couple. She is forced to admit her jealousy and bitterness toward Adama, confessing that she couldn't bear seeing her stepsister so happy. Her actions were driven by a deep-rooted jealousy, and desire to destroy the perfect life that Adama had built. Makena's manipulation is finally exposed, and she is left to face the consequences of her actions. Adama and Oluwaseun, though hurt by the betrayal, find strength in confronting the truth. They realize that the person who nearly tore their lives apart is now exposed, and they can finally start moving on without the shadow of doubt hanging over them. With Makena's schemes behind them, Adama and Oluwaseun focus on rebuilding their relationship from the ground up. They learn to communicate more openly, trust each other more deeply, and cherish their love in a way they hadn't before. The road to healing wasn't easy, but together they find a new beginning. Their bond is stronger, their love renewed, and they know that they can face whatever challenges life throws their way together. After everything that happened, Adama and Oluwaseun's journey reminds us that love isn't always smooth. It has its trials and tests, but through forgiveness, understanding, and facing the truth, they found a way to rebuild what was broken. The story teaches us that no matter how deep the pain, there's always a chance for healing if we are willing to let go of grudges and work together. The real strength lies in forgiveness and in choosing to face challenges as a team. So, if you've been hurt or faced betrayal, remember, healing starts with honesty, love, and the courage to move forward together. Let this story be a reminder that with patience and understanding, even the most broken relationships can be restored. Are you ready to forgive, rebuild, and embrace the power of a fresh start? Don't let the past hold you back. It's time to create your own new beginning. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and comment your thoughts below. We'd love to hear what you think. Subscribe for more heartfelt stories and share with your friends and family to spread the love. Let's keep the conversation going and inspire others with this journey of forgiveness and healing.